Alright folks, we're going to introduce you to our two pet bass, Bonnie and Clyde. And we actually had a video about a month ago, in case you missed it, where we went out on the Mobile Delta and we caught us two pet bass. And the one back here in the back is Bonnie. She's a little bit bigger, probably the female, and that's Clyde. And we had, there's Lily, that's the cat that likes to watch them. And we actually asked in the comment section that y'all help us name them, and the most popular name was Bonnie and Clyde. And in case you wrote that comment in the last video, make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video. We're going to do a giveaway for everybody that wrote Bonnie and Clyde. But we're going to show you some feeding in this video, some trapping, how we're going to go out and catch the bait that we're going to feed these fish, crawfish, bluegills, shad, possibly even some shrimp. And you know, I've observed them a lot over the past month, and they're two completely different personalities. Bonnie likes to sit down there on the bottom and not expend a lot of energy, as to where Clyde, he'll chase the bait around. He's a really active male, and Bonnie's just a female. She doesn't spend a whole lot of energy. She has a really cool feeding technique to where she just lets Clyde chase the bait around, and then when they swim past Bonnie, she'll suck them right up. So we'll show you all that here in a little while in this video. And I'm going to show you some of these feeding techniques and how we trap the bait that we're going to feed them right now. And here's a look at the minnow trap that we're going to be using to catch some bait. And it's very simple. The bait swims in right through here, gets trapped in here, and they can't find their way out. What do you think, Milo? You going to help me set the trap? And if you want to know what they eat, ham sandwich. Everything likes ham sandwich. Just drop it in there. You can tear it up a little bit if you want to help them smell it, but put it anywhere where there's some current, and I guarantee you to catch something. Minnows, crawfish, whatever's down there. We'll see. It's already captured a dog. Milo, what do you think about that trap? It's already caught you, hasn't it? Alright, we've got our trap here off and back in a little creek. Just gonna drop it down, probably come back and check it in a day or so. Hopefully we'll have some fish food. Alright folks, back here to check the trap. Just found a stray dog, fed him a couple Pop-Tarts. Dog's happy. Let's see what this trap has in it. Oh, we got a few small little baits in there. Real small little bluegills. Ought to be perfect. Alright, there's number one. Number two. And number three. Perfect size for feeding those small bass. Caught them off bread, most likely. And right out here in the delta, so you know that's what these fish were eating. So they'll be happy. Get them a small little meal. I'll come back and check it tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be a few more in here. Alright, and a couple other cool things I'd like to talk about in this video that I've just observed is how they feed, and a lot of their feeding activities at night. You know, sometimes we'll put, you know, up to a dozen bait fish in here, and we'll go to sleep at night, and you know, maybe 9 or 10 of them will be gone before the next morning. They do a lot of feeding at night, and that just kind of reminds me, you know, I need to do more night fishing myself, just because bass feed heavily at night. And then one other cool thing that I'd kind of forgotten about is after these fish eat a bait fish, they have this way of descaling a fish. You know, for instance, a minnow, after they suck them in, they'll actually descale the fish and then blow. It looks like kind of a little cloud of glitter, and right after they eat the fish, the scales will come out of the gills, and you'll see, you know, you can always tell when they ate one because there'll be a big puff of glitter is what it looks like. that, where they descaled the fish, and that's something that's really cool with the teeth and the chomping ability that they have inside their mouth. It's really cool to watch that. And then one other concern that we had in our last video, a lot of people thought that this tank isn't big enough. And again, these are juvenile bass. They're probably half a pound each. Bonnie's a little bit bigger than Clyde, but we got a 55-gallon tank. But I don't want you guys to worry. As they grow older, we're going to get them a bigger tank. Liz and I have already started specking out a 300-gallon tank, which is, actually 6 times the size of this one. So we'll have them plenty of room as they grow up and get bigger. And I kind of want to look at these as YouTube, the bass fishing community mascots. Bonnie and Clyde. I'll let you guys watch them grow up. We'll feed them together. We'll set up some live streams to where we feed them at night, and you can watch them feed live. And we're even considering getting a full-time dedicated camera to where you can log in and watch these fish at any time of the day. And we'll talk more about that, in our upcoming videos, to where you can get a live feed of the 2 fish here, at any time. So, alright folks, I didn't catch enough bluegills to show y'all a good feeding video, so I went out and bought some crappie minnows, and we'll kind of give y'all a good little idea and a good little look at how they feed and how they chase these minnows around. So we're fixing to drop several of them in here and hopefully get some good feeding action. So here's a good example of it. On the initial drop of the food, Clyde will get active and he'll start chasing the bait around, and Bonnie just sits tight down on the bottom, doesn't really move a whole bunch, and lets the bait kind of move into her. And these are, 2 juvenile bass. They're less than a year old, and they haven't really perfected their feeding techniques yet. And sometimes it's funny to watch Clyde, swim around and get so close to catching the bait, but he's still so far away. As to where Bonnie, she's really effective. She doesn't really expend much energy, and she's pretty much dead on. Anytime that bait swims near her, she captures it, and that's probably why she's a little bit heavier than Clyde. But it's 2 pretty cool contrasting feeding techniques, but they actually work together sometimes as well. They'll get up and they'll school together. Sometimes I've seen Bonnie kind of swim over to Clyde and nudge him, and then they both get active and they start chasing the bait around. Alright guys, there's a look at our bluegill. I don't know if you can see him very good. He's inside of that house, but he's moving around a little bit. But we actually caught him in the delta in the trap, and he has survived by staying in that house, and I think he'll make it. If he gets a little bit bigger, he'll be too big for those bass to eat. And he just hangs out in the house and out of line of sight of Bonnie and Clyde, and he's a smart bluegill. Alright, now it is time to pick the winners who commented on the last video, Bonnie and Clyde, and we had over 1,800 comments, and 25 people here commented Bonnie and Clyde. So I've got all your names listed right here, and we're going to do this randomly. One funny note, the second most common name was John B. and Perrick. That would have been funny. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and select these winners. I've got a random number generator. We're going to select 3 winners, and I'm going to send a prize package full of bass fishing lures out to each of you 3. So I'm going to select the first winner, generate, and the number 5, which is Eddie Kaita. And the second winner is number 25, which is Taylor Clayville. And the third winner is number 12, which is Random Videos with John Drags. So you 3 fellas send me your address in an email or here on YouTube, and I'll get your prize pack sent out. And guys, comment below what you would like to see us feed the fish next. You know, threadfin shad, shrimp, crawfish, and we'll put that in our next feeding video. And I want to personally thank each and every one of you. We just reached over 100,000 subscribers, and you know, Liz and I appreciate that a ton. Our next video is going to be a 100K giveaway, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, good luck fishing, folks.